Hi, I'm Emma Jenkins. I'm a specialist in contract law, and I've been brought in to work as your agent. I'll be working to get you the best deal in the boardroom, which means you need to do the best possible job out there on the circuit.
Martin Robinson, you're back once again to bore me to tears with talks about car games.
You love it, really.
Why is it always me?
Sorry, I do pick on you, don't I? Because everyone else knows better. Everyone else knows better than to say yes when I say, can I talk about car games with them?
Well, you don't even say that. You're like, can I do a video with you? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then you're like, it's about a car game. I'm like,
You like Codemasters games?
I do like Codemasters games, but I know nothing about racing games.
No one does their engine sounds like you as well, most importantly.
Brum, 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 honky, honky. That was an engine sound and a horn.
That was a very good approximation of the power unit on a Mercedes F1 car right now. Very good.
That is exactly what I was doing. Bonkers.
It was. You even got the hybrid noises down there.
It's crazy. Great. All about the hybrids. Right, F1 2016. What is it?
Yes. Basically, I think... So you know Codemasters did Dirt Rally?
Yeah.
And Dirt Rally came off the back of loads of... People were really unhappy with the direction that the dirt games had taken of stuff like Dirt Showdown. It was all a bit casual and everything. Mm-hmm. And then, out of nowhere, the small team within Codemasters... did what is like the most hardcore game they've ever done, I think. Dirt Rally. It's like they just decided like screw it, let's just geek out and go nuts for the hardcore. In a way, I feel like F1 2016 feels like the Dirt Rally kind of F1 games because they've just gone, you know what, let's just go nuts and geek out. Like kind of like I say, screw everyone else. You can still play it with like assists on and have a good time, but. It feels more than ever like they're catering for people like me who watch every free practice session of every Grand Prix and just kind of super obsessed with all the little details. So yeah, and because of that, I'm quite excited by it. I think I absolutely love what I've seen of it so far.
Hi. Good to meet you at last. My name's Chris, and I'll be working with you as your Chief of Vehicle Development.
So yeah, this career mode that they've put back in, then what's it featuring? Is it the same old standard stuff from earlier games, or have they completely revamped it, put new stuff in?
It harks back to F1 2010,
right.
Which was the first 360 and PS3 F1 game, and that one was made to a certain extent. A large part of the design of that, from what I understand, was made by some of the old Dirt team who went on to do Playground Games. So that's kind of the old Cody's A team. And so it had the kind of paddock and everything in it, and it had kind of this virtual environment you could walk around, and it was all supposed to like engross you in the wider world of F1, which is all about the like F1. There's more to F1 basically than what goes on the track. There's like a large part of the appeal is all the politics and all the stuff that goes on off the track. F1 2010 like had a crack at doing that. And then they kind of took a different path after that. This feels like a return to that, which I think is a good thing. And so you start off with an agent who kind of sorts you out of a contract and everything. You can start off with whatever team you want, or you can kind of progress over a certain number of years to where you want to go to, or you can take any team and kind of develop their cars where you want them to go. So basically they've gone with almost like an RPG system this year, where you get resource points which you can then allocate and unlock certain attributes on your car. So, for example, like as I'm sure you know full well, Ian.
Of course, yes.
Honda's engine has underdelivered on its top end power since they came back to the sport last year, and I know you've been very upset about that. And
it's been keeping me awake at night.
And so, if you wanted to, you could join McLaren and then invest all your resource points and make that engine half decent, so it can compete with the likes of the Renault engine or the Ferrari or Mercedes or anything like that. And so, yeah, you can kind of choose the development path and do all stuff like that. But supporting that as well is loads of cool data and graphs and stuff. And I love just like coming off a test session, which you can do to acclimatise yourself with a track, and then just pouring over all these details and going as deep as you want into strategy, finding out what tyre compound's best for what track. And beyond that as well, all the little rules and all the little eccentricities that make up F1 in 2016 are in there as well. So you've got the virtual safety car. So you've got you could do formation laps if you want.
Oh yes. What is a formation lap?
It's a weird one. People have been wanting a formation lap for ages, and it's one of the most boring parts of F1. Basically, at the start of every race, you get to do one lap at a controlled pace, which is just supposed to be so you can warm up your car.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can do that now because people have been wanting to do that for ages apparently. So that's in there. They've tried to get a bit more of the sense of character and charisma of F1 in, and so it's about more than the drivers. And now there's all these, all the personalities that make up F1. All the team principals are in there now, like Toto the Wolf, like the Mercedes boss. When Mercedes win the race, you'll see him kind of come off the pit lane and kind of pound the air and go woohoo. Like
good old Toto,
the sexiest man in F1, Irivabene, who is Dilf, I think he'd be called.
a Delph, yeah.
Yeah, he's a total Dilf. Actually, I haven't seen what he looks like. I haven't seen if they've managed to be faithful to his unbelievable sexiness in F1 2016. But I look forward to seeing if they've managed to capture the hotness of Irivabene. And so it's all these little things which just basically conspire to make a much more immersive F1 game, and that has all these little detail things basically, which just really just makes you really appreciate the fact that this is a game made by people who actually love F1 as much as the people they're kind of aiming to get the game out to.
Well, I've only been looking through a little bit of this footage, but there is a nice crash where some wheels snap off, which I quite liked.
Yeah, that's so basically in when was this? This is about 2 or 3 years ago. There was a concern about wheels flying off all over the place because of safety. You don't want a wheel flying off and hitting someone in the head, and so they put wheel tethers in on the cars. So when the cars crash off, the wheels kind of are still tethered to the car. Such a small thing, but basically they've replicated that now as well. And so when you crash, as you can see in this, the wheel tethers kind of thing happens in a place where the wheels kind of bounce around by the side of the car. And it's just another tiny little detail that makes a huge difference.
So super attention to detail as always from Codemasters then.
Yeah, well, and not as always. I think they've never kind of. This feels like it's a checklist of all the things that I've always wanted from a Codemasters F1 game, and that for one reason or another they haven't been able to put in. And this feels like it's kind of like after this, I kind of wonder what's left basically, like because there's always something to complain about, and there's always like, why didn't you do this? Why isn't this in the game? And now it feels like features-wise, anyway, they've managed to put everything in there. Like a little part of me would love them to be able to put GP2 and GP3 in, which are the feeder series that support F1. I did ask about that, but unfortunately it's a different license. That's never going to happen. Aside from that, though, they've put in everything you could reasonably want of an F1 game at this point. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Would you say this is their best one so far, you think, because of all these new additions?
Yeah, totally. I feel that way. From what I haven't said that, this is having played it for like about 2 hours. So obviously how it works after an extended period of time, and whether some of the bugs that have found their way into Codemasters F1 games, if they manifest themselves, we'll wait and see. Yeah. But like, from everything I've seen, from the feature list and from just playing it, just from how it looks and how it plays, it's easily their best F1 game since they first started on this. Which is really cool. And the only problem is, obviously, these games have come out every year, and so I don't know if people are going to be that excited about the prospect of another F1 game, because it is just another F1 game.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be as excited as I am, Martin.
You've been just on the edge of your seat throughout this whole thing, haven't you?
It's a white knuckle ride here on my end of the Skype call, I tell you.
Thank you so much for not falling asleep so far.
No, it's fine. I had my girlfriend pinching me on the leg all the way through. No, just to wrap this up quickly, could you do an impression of a Ferrari SF16-H engine, please?
Oh God, if only I could. The hybrid cars are so hard.
Okay, what about a Williams Mercedes FW38?
Because they've got all this whining, all this kind of transmission noise, and all the harvesting systems, which are really difficult. Because I can't even do it. No, because that just sounds like I'm having a nervous breakdown. Can you do one?
Well, I'll do a Force Indiana Mercedes VJM09.
Go on, do it.
How's that? I think that was pretty good.
Fun. I've got goosebumps. That was so beautiful.
I thought you did. Well, if you guys at home have got goosebumps from that impression as well, don't forget to give this video a like and perhaps subscribe to Eurogamer for more videos that aren't always really boring ones about racing games.
Thanks, Ian.
You're
Anytime.
Can't wait to have you back, Martin. Bye.
Bye.